Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. Hope you are all fine. I'm with Kévin today. You can find the poll to begin with, and I'll let you like 2 minutes to answer it. So do you already use one of the two solutions we will present to you today? So Sekoia, CrowdSec, or none of it? Okay, I think we can begin. I will see the poll results in a few seconds. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our joint webinar. Sekoia.io and CrowdSec have decided to work together to help our mutual clients to enrich their knowledge about IP addresses identified within CrowdSec solution. I'm here today with Kévin.
Hello everyone, I'm Kévin Kadosh from CrowdSec and I work for CrowdSec for 2 years now. So welcome everyone.
And I'm Marc, Threat Intelligence Analyst at Sekoia for more than 3 years now. So our polls tell us that some of the users already used both of the solutions, so it's quite good. And some users didn't use any of the solution too, so we will present both of the solutions today. We will present first Sekoia.io and then CrowdSec products to show you how you can find information from CrowdSec in Sekoia.io platform. While we are presenting, please don't hesitate to use the question functionality in Livestorm, so we can find your question easily at the end of the webinar, and we will answer it. So let's begin with a brief history on Sekoia. Sekoia was created in 2008 as a company providing only cybersecurity consulting services. After that, in 2013, Sekoia was an authorized user of the CERT mark, thanks to our incident response services. With the acquisition of the company named Threat, in 2016, Sekoia begins its focus on cyber threat intelligence. And in 2018, the company decided to focus on SaaS activity. Our products were officially launched in 2020. So now let's focus on our products. We offer two products as a SaaS platform. And first, we will focus on the CTI product. So this is a state-of-the-art cyber threat intelligence platform. It contains all the data collected and enriched by Sekoia.io analysts to help our clients find all the information needed about cyber threat. We capitalize our data with STIX 2.1. So we have more compatibility with our pairs, and it's easy to modelize cyber threat with a well-structured language. You can preview an example of our modelization in the slide. As you can see, everything it can be connected to each other objects, and so you have more context about the threat data. To do so, Sekoia analysts use different sources, including OSINT reports from other partners and private partners reports. We use open source feeds such as Malware Bazaar, URLOS, or ThreatFox, for example, but also numerous Sekoia projects. For instance, Honeypots, Malware Watcher, that is a project to extract configuration from malware. And with all this data, you have the widest view possible on cyber threat. And you, as customer, You can consume this data and access this data in different ways. So the first one is our portal that I will show you later, but you can consume the data through the API too and ingest our data in your CTA platform, such as MISP or OpenCTA, for example. We don't only put information about your threat and IOCs in our platform, but we want to give you the more context possible. So we use observables, and I will present you what we mean about it, to give even more context about IP addresses or other observables in our platform. So here you have two sides in this slide. The first one is to explain to you what is observable, and then I will explain to you what we name indicators. This is two distinct kinds of data available in our platform, and each one have its mode of consumption. Observables are different kind of technical artifacts. For instance, you can have IP addresses, file, URL, certificate, and so on. They are not necessarily malicious. For example, we have in our platform google.com, and the IP address of Cloudflare DNS are observables, but they are not malicious. Sekoia Analyst can give you some context on those observables with tags. For example, the IP address of Cloudflare DNS is tagged public DNS in our platform, and I will show you later how you can find it in our platform. Those tags can be used for detection in our XDR. And on the other hand, we have indicators. They represent indicator of compromise. So they are malicious, and they are always related to a threat and have some context in Sekoia platform. They have dates that you can see when the IOC is really malicious, and those IOC, if those IOC are seen in your detection logs, so they will raise alert in our XDR. So about our XDR. Now that you are almost expert with our CTI product, it's time to introduce the XDR. So XDR stands for Extended Detection and Response. It's also a SaaS platform. It is designed as a tower control for your cybersecurity. So in a few seconds, it can be configured to collect events from all your information system and your cloud applications. And once the data is collected by our platform, it will use our Sigma detection rule and our CTI to detect potential malicious behavior in your network in real time. So it works as follows with 5 functionalities, and they are all supported by our CTI. This figure is quite interesting here because I will present you the different functionalities during the demo after. So the first part on the left is the ingestion part. So we ingest events from your system and put it in our platform in a normalized and enriched form. So it can be logs from any endpoints from your network, but also from any cloud services. Thanks to the ingestion, we can do some detection. So in the middle, once the data is available, the platform analyze and detect it and detect any suspicious behavior. So as I said, we provide our customers Sigma rules, but clients can also write their own, and we can do some anomaly detection also. The detection will trigger some alerts. So on the right part in the alerting, and if any suspicious behavior is found in the platform, it will raise alerts, and you can visualize it and analyze it. So once the detection is done, analysts want to investigate. So it's at the time we provide the necessary tools to search for more information in the ingested logs to find more patterns next to this strange behavior we detected. It can be malicious. And when it's done, we can also do some orchestration to ease even more the analyst's job. So we provide tools to automate your work, and this is the part we will study just after. So now I will let Kévin introduce you to CrowdSec.
Yes, thank you. So CrowdSec is a cybersecurity company. We edit free and open source IDS and IPS, and we are building the largest IP reputation network in the world. So over the last 40 years, companies and IT services try the superhero approach where they fight alone against cyber criminals. But at CrowdSec, we think that the right approach is the crowd where all those IT services and companies fight together against those cyber criminals. So here is how it works. We edit free and open source IDS and IPS that detect and block attacks in your logs, seen in your logs, sorry. Then the IP address is automatically shared with us. So thanks to our community, we can maintain a real-time map of rogue IP addresses. And this is what we will monetize along with some extra services for enterprise clients, such as the CrowdSec console. So to be transparent, the CrowdSec IDS and IPS are only a mean, and our goal is to build the largest IP reputation network in the world. So about the collaborative IDS and IPS, to make it work, you first have to configure your data sources. So it can be basic log file, syslog, Splunk, or any services or software that can stream logs. Then come the IDS part, so what we call the CrowdSec agent that will parse, normalize, and enrich your logs to then detect threat based on our behavior scenarios. And this is where the collaborative aspects start. Those scenarios and parser can be written by CrowdSec or by the community directly. So if one of our users want to detect new services or a new type of attack, then he can do it on his own and share it on the CrowdSec hub. Then come the IPS part, what we call bouncers, that allows you to block an IP address at any level of your infrastructure. It can be on your WordPress website, on your Nginx web server, or on your IP table or Windows firewall. And since we have bouncers for many applications and services, for some of them, you can also return a CAPTCHA because, for example, you have an e-commerce website and you are afraid of false positives, so you prefer to return a CAPTCHA to not block potential real customers. And then once the IP address has been detected as malicious, we share the IP address with our server so we can give back to our community the most aggressive IPs that they reported. So today, CrowdSec already deal with more than 100 bad behaviors. So from the simple one like web scanning, credential brute force, to more advanced one that are often business oriented, like applicative DDoS or bot scalping. So, for example, bot scalping is when, for example, a shoe store wants to do a private sale and that some people rent bots to buy as much items as possible to resell them later. So one of our users faced this issue, and by customizing a bit its parsers and scenario, we were able to block those bots. So you can find all the CrowdSec scenarios and the scenarios made by the community on the CrowdSec hub. So CrowdSec fit in no categories. We are not firewall, we are not a SIEM, but we are here to reinforce them all. If you have, for example, a firewall, CrowdSec can be used to detect threat and then to feed this firewall with the IP address it has detected. If you have a log storage, CrowdSec can ingest the logs and detect threat too. You can also have an XDR, a SOAR, a SIEM, and CrowdSec can push its alert into one of those tools. So and you can, even use the CrowdSec CTI to enrich an IP address or to add some context about it. So we are not here to compete with those tools. We are here to reinforce them all. About privacy, we collect the strict minimum. Your logs are never exported, so we send to our server only the timestamp of the attack, the scenario, and the IP address behind these attacks. And since on our site, this lose value over time, we will degrade the data after 3 months. And I also wanted to add that there is no online dependency to our services. So you can use the free IDS and IPS without sharing signal with us. About the software, it is open source under the MIT license. It is free and will stay free forever. So it is transparent, auditable, and trustable. You can find the source code on GitHub. For people who want to share signal with us, they will get back in return the most aggressive IPs that the community reported. And of course, we are open to contribution. So thanks to this approach, we are building the largest IP reputation network in the world. You can compare it with Waze. If only 10 users use it, then it's not relevant. But if 100,000 of people start using it, then it becomes interesting. And this is what we are trying to do at CrowdSec, building the biggest IP reputation network in the world where all of our users can protect themselves mutually. So today, CrowdSec, it's 150,000 installation in more than 170 countries. We receive approximately 20 million attacks per day, and we already have a database of 23 million IP addresses. After 2 years of gathering data from our users, we figure out that this is not only a network of IP addresses, but a network of networks. Let me explain. For CTI solutions that are based on honeypot, they will mainly record the background noise on internet. But at CrowdSec, since we have users in real businesses and in many different businesses, we also identify that some IP addresses or group of IP addresses only target a specific business vertical, such as telecom, retail, health, etc. And this is one of the biggest strengths of the CrowdSec CTI. So back to the product, we also provide the CrowdSec console in a freemium model. So it allows you to manage your CrowdSec instances and to see some visual dashboard like the most targeted machine of your infrastructure, the most reported scenario, can be also the most IP reported, and also the list of all the alerts that your CrowdSec instances reported. You can also subscribe to some IP block list that can be made by CrowdSec or that are third-party block list. And soon you will be able to see and to manage the decisions that your IPS will apply. On our console, you can also consume our CTI. So you will see a card for each IP addresses with basic information such as the range, the autonomous system, the country, and information about what the CrowdSec community said about it. So it can be for what type of attack it has been reported for, since how many times we know this IP address, how aggressive it is, and if this IP address already attacked your environment. And you can consume the CrowdSec CTI through our API. So we have two different databases, the smoke one and the fire one. So as we say, there is no fire without smoke. So smoke contains a million of IP addresses. So they are mostly all the IP addresses that the CrowdSec community reported, but that are not malicious or aggressive enough to be part of the fire database. So about the Fire database, what we call also the community block list is the database that we redistribute to all of our users that share signal with us. So this one contains only 10,000 of IP addresses, but that have been highly curated, that paste our expert system. So we are sure that they are not false positive and that they are malicious. Since an IP address is malicious today but can be cleaned tomorrow, we keep an IP address in the Fire database only for 1 week before she goes back to smoke. And if in the future we see this IP address doing malicious stuff, she will go back in the Fire database. So with this API, we did many integration for service for software like Dhive, MISP, OpenCTI, and Sekoia also did their own integration between CrowdSec and Sekoia that Marc will show you right now.
Thanks, Kevin. Perfect. So now that you are aware what CrowdSec is doing, I can show you directly within Sekoia how we did integrate this. So you should be able to see my screen now. And yes, it's good. So we are here in the intelligence part, the CTI platform. I presented to you just before, so you can see all the different data you can find here. The last report we integrated and everything. What we want to see here is the difference between observable object and observable. So here you have the count. So obviously we have more observable because they're not all the observable and malicious. And as I mentioned before, we can search here, for example, for the IP address of Cloudflare DNS. So here you have the public DNS tag. I talked about it earlier. And for example, we can also search here google.com. And as you can see, we have a domain google.com here. And you can see that we have some tags on it too. So you can see here that it's not malicious. What I want to show you there is how we did integrate CrowdSec platform. So here, for example, if I want to show you all the CrowdSec data we have integrated, I can search for here for the source CrowdSec, and we should be able to find all the data from CrowdSec. It seems that I have some filters on. Okay, so here I have the CrowdSec data. So as you can see here, we have a lot of data, new IPs from CrowdSec. And to do so, we have consumed the FHIR database that Kevin presented to you before. So like every 30 minutes, I guess, we are consuming this API. And we are adding the information within our platform that CrowdSec shows this IP address as potentially malicious and as a scanner. So here we can see that we have a lot of data from CrowdSec. We can see more here, and we will try to find some recent ones. So exactly what I want to find. So here we have some IP created today in our observable database. So let's take this one, for example. So this IP was seen from CrowdSec, and we have added some tags. So this is a scanner, and more specifically, an HTTP scanner. We can have some more information here. Our platform does some enrichment automatically here, so we know it's a M247 IP address, for example. So here we have some basic information from the FHIR database. And what is really interesting is that we created some tags. So this IP is quite new. It's from 1 hour. Like at the big, it was created in the platform when we did begin the webinar. So what is interesting here is that this tag, with this tag, we can do some detection in our XDR platform. So I will switch from the CTI to the XDR here. And what I want to show you there is that we can create some rules from this tag. So first, I want to present to you what is the data creating all these alerts and events you will see. So we have decided at Sekoia to do some honeypots. And for that, we have created some server exposed on the internet that we are monitoring with different intakes. So what is monitored on this server is SSH. They are Linux or Windows based. So we are using our agent on those honeypots and some basic Linux monitoring too. I think we are monitoring also nginx log to have more data on it. So we have some server exposed on the internet. As all the server exposed, they are scanned, and so we want to find some potential malicious activity on them. So I have created a rule based on the tag we saw before. So I will search for the rule. Here, it's our rule catalog. So you will find a rule created for all our clients, and also a rule created for our honeypots. And we are testing things here. So I have created a rule specifically for this webinar. And here you can see that I'm searching for the tag I showed you earlier about the scanner, and specifically the HTTP one. So this rule will supervise all the intakes we have on our honeypots, and raise any alerts if they see an IP address with the tag scanner HTTP. So let's see if we raise some alerts on this alert, on this rule. So I'm charging all the alerts I have on this community, and here we can see that we have very recent alerts here. Let's take this one, for example, so the one at 6 this morning. So what I can see in this alert is that we have so the rule triggered here. So this is the scanner HTTP one, and I think I have some latency here on my network. It should charge very soon. So we give some context to our clients here. So for example, we are saying our clients that we have active scanning. This rule is detective active scanning, for example. This is something we can use when we create the rule to show people what is going on. I will just refresh. I think I have some network issue on my side. Yes, it's far better. So here we have 10 events detected, and on the same alert, it meaning that the events are quite the same here. We can see that it's even from SSH Linux and Linux too. Let's see the events and what is going on here. So we can add more fields here in the event, and I want to show you what is the source IP of the event, for example. So here we can see that it's always the same IP doing this malicious thing on our network. So what we want to know now is that we know that this IP is known as a scanner by CrowdSec. This is one thing, but we want to see if CrowdSec can give us more data on this. So doing that, I will use the automation part I showed you before in my graph. And for that, I will use a playbook. So I will launch a playbook now, and we'll show you just after how it is working. So I just executed the playbook here. It will run, and we will come back here just after to see what is going on with this playbook. So the point of the playbook is to give you more context from CrowdSec. So I have created a playbook here, and I will show you how it works in live. So we have made available for all our clients a template to ease the use of the playbook for our clients. So we have many templates available for our clients on playbooks. Here we can use the search on the tag CrowdSec, for example. So let's use this one. This is exactly the same playbook I just launched before. So here we can see that we have a playbook with different blocks. We will try to explain every block here and configure the playbook so everything should be green just after. To configure this, first the playbook starts with the trigger block. It means that how the playbook will be launched. Here we want to launch a playbook directly from an alert. So the trigger is a manual trigger one. I just have to select the configuration. This configuration just contains the API key to access our platform. So this is configured. Then when we choose our trigger, we want to get the alert from where the playbook is launched. So to do so, we just need to search and configure the alert. But as you can see, everything is already configured. I just have to select the configuration I want, and it is already created. Everything is good, and from now on, I want to get all the events from the alert. So in the alert, I just saw you there was 10 events, for example. So I will get this one. Here is the interesting block, is the request URL, and specifically the CrowdSec. So here, as you can see, you have more configuration to do. You have to put your API key to consult CrowdSec. Obviously, we did put that here, so you can see that you have to put your API key here. And what is going on here is that we are using the smoke database of CrowdSec, presented by Kévin just before. And here, what I select is that I want the event. I select the first event showed in the alert before and take the source IP. When I have this and the request is done, what the playbook is doing is it will get the information. If the request is successful, then we will store the results and use every attack categories within the result to post a comment inside the alert. So here I just have to put our configuration as before. We can select the information we want to post. And if the request is not successful and not found, is sent by CrowdSec API. So we will put that CrowdSec doesn't have any information of the source IP. Everything should be configured now. So I can save my playbook, and as you can see, everything is green. So you can activate it. Obviously, I already done that, and we can go back to our alert to see if everything is good on this side. So let's go back to the alert. I selected the one at 6 this morning. I guess it was this one. Yes. As you can see now, the result is done. So we have more information coming from CrowdSec. So obviously, and as we see in the event, CrowdSec is saying to us that this IP is known for brute force on SSH services. It correlates pretty well with we have seen in the event just here, because the SSH agent is telling us that there is authentication failure from this IP address. So it's quite good, and we know here that we are not alone seeing this IP during connection to our server. CrowdSec tell us even more things, that it's also known for vulnerability scanning and discovery, and also brute force on FTP. So we are quite happy with that, but because now we know that the things happening on this IP address is not a targeted one, but a more massive scan, and probably automated one from threat actors. What we can see here is that we can search for more information in this IP address in the log we have ingested in our platform. So to do so, I will go in the event page. And so when I presented to you the 5 functionalities of Sekoia, we are here in the investigation part. So we can search for anything here. For example, I can search for the source IP field here, and see if there is more things coming from this IP. So I just do like this, but I could do the search here too. It's pretty the same thing. So nothing in the 5 last minutes, but let's go from the past 7 days, for example. So here we have more information. We know that we have more than 300 events having this IP in source, but we have only 11 events in our alerts. So we have 10 events in the alert I show you, and probably one more in another alert. So as you can see, it's pretty, it goes instantly, and we have everything you want to see here. So you have the type of the log ingested, so OpenSSH here or Linux, and you have the source IP here. You can see that we have more events, so there is really recent things going on here, perhaps. And what we can see here is that we should be able to find more information about this IP. So as you can see, we have the tags here that I showed you before. We can search, for example, this IP in the intelligence CTI part to see these tags, but it is contained in the alerts. So everything is already in the XDR part. You don't have to switch for find this information. You can find it directly from here. I think it's all what I wanted to show. I don't know if you have any questions.
Else, Mark, I can also show in the CrowdSec CTI what can we show about this IP address.
Yes, go ahead, Kevin. Thanks.
Yes. So for the IP address that you show in your alert, here is what the CrowdSec CTI says about it. So as I said, there is the basic information. We have also what we call the background noise score. So this is a score to say if an IP address targets some specific vertical or companies, or if it's a IP address that scan the whole internet without thinking. So this one, we can see that it has 10 on 10. So it means that this IP address has been seen by a lot of our users, and we consider it as a background noise score. We can also see some categories. So this IP is part of the community block list. So what we call also the fire database. It has many services exposed and some dangerous ones. So it might mean that this IP address has been compromised, or it's an honeypot, for example. Here are the type of attacks for what this IP address has been reported. So as Marc mentioned, SSH brute force, HTTP scanning, and FTP, pro FTPD brute force. We can see also when this IP address has been reported. So you can see that since October 2022 until the 2nd of January, this IP has been active. And we can also see that it mostly targets USA, Dutch, and French. So, and it also has attacked my environment. So the 20th of December, and only 4 times. And that's it.
Thanks, Kevin. Perfect. So it really shows that the integration works pretty well here. I think we have some questions going in. I will start with this one, I guess. So did you guys provide API key from CrowdSec, or I have to get my own API key? You have to get your own API key. You have to be a client of CrowdSec and Sekoia to use this, indeed. Kevin, how can a customer of CrowdSec can
Yes.
get an API
So
key?
I will just reshare so I can show you. It's really easy. So you have to be client of our console, but you can see, yes, you just have to go in the setting API keys and create an API key here that you can then use in the Sekoia integration.
Perfect.
So
Thanks. We have another question. I have a question about the playbook configuration. When you specify the position of the event and you put 0, it means the first seen event of the one which is on the top. It's the oldest one, I think. So let's go back here in the alert. I think it's the oldest one in the alert. we could try to see if it's correct. But here it doesn't really matter anyways, because it's taking it's always the same source IP in the different events we have. So it doesn't really matter in this case, but I think it's the oldest one. So probably the one in the bottom here. And it should be this one, yes. It's really important to understand that here for the comments and for the demo and for the playbook available for all our customers, we have decided to take the attack category description here only, but we could add more information in the playbook and also add the dates and all the data. We can also directly print the all JSON from CrowdSec directly here in the timeline. We have decided to add it here like that, so it's easy to read, but our customer can modify the playbook as they want. There is a question for you, Kévin, I guess.
Yes.
How exactly do we know we are getting false positive with CrowdSec?
So we have a curation system that so first we are ranking all of our users, so you can't come report an IP address and it will not go in the FAIR database directly. So we have some rank system for our users, and then we have some rules that check the diversity of an IP address. So if an IP address has been reported by I don't know 20 different ranges in 20 different autonomous systems in more than 10 countries, then we can consider that it's not some poisoning of false positive. And also we have some check on domain name IP addresses to check that an IP address is not a false positive. So this is all our curation platform with some more rules, etc. But this is how we are sure that there is no false positive with CrowdSec.
Thanks, Kévin. Do we have more questions from the chat? Yes, we have one more question. Do you have experience in bank system? Does this work, or have you done any installations? Can you precise if you want this information from CrowdSec or Sekoia? From the Sekoia point of view, okay, both. Thanks. I don't know if you are talking about bank system like server inside the bank or servers where customers connect to access their bank account. But from Sekoia, I think we have some clients of Sekoia using our CTI at least. And from Kevin's slides, and I will let Kévin respond, but I think yes.
Yes. So yes, at CrowdSec we also have one user that is from a bank, but I don't think he uses CrowdSec for specific bank software, but he can use it in his IT service. So yes, we already have. And about though CrowdSec is only based to the IP address, or can we relate other information to make a rule? So yes, we mainly focus on IP addresses because this is what we are gathering, but you can also use the CrowdSec IDS IPS to, I don't know, you can have a rule to check if a specific username is being brute forced, and you can also have an IPS on the other end that will get the decision about which user is being brute forced, and you can block it on your Active Directory or on your LDAP servers, for example.
do you guys have any more questions? We are happy to respond to you. For the Sekoia users, for example, connected, do you already use Playbook, and does this kind of playbooks help you to have more information about any alerts you can have? We have more playbook like this available for our clients. I can show you it. I can show it to you. When we are in the playbook part here, and you use a template, you can have here more things. And for example, qualify here internet scan that is not using CrowdSec, for example, or verify if there is a playbook in hardware or not. So we are trying to make the most use possible of this kind of IP. You can also search, for example, on Shodan if you want more information. We have another question from Pierre. To understand well, what makes CrowdSec CTI different from others and Sekoias?
So about CrowdSec, so we are since we have behavior scenarios and real users, we are more business oriented, so we can detect more if some IP addresses can target some business vertical, and also we have more how to say yes, behavior how to say categories about our IP addresses that I think Sekoia doesn't have.
Exactly. We are mainly focused at Sekoia on C2s, command and control servers from malware and from attackers that they use in your network, and less focus on the scanning part, because scanning can be done from any IP, and they are very they are changing regularly, and they are not always malicious. That's why we use CrowdSec data that is really reliable for that, and we can focus on the C2 part. So it's not really on the same side of your network that you will see that. Thank you, Los Jones, for the comment.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pierre, for your question. So I think we are good on the question. Thank you everyone for joining today. I hope it was clear to you. And if you have any questions, either for CrowdSec or Sekoia, don't hesitate to contact us. I think that there will be a replay of this webinar available for you guys. And have a good day. I hope the weather is good where you are, because it's not at all in France. And we are going on lunch break for us. So have a good day, and see you soon, guys.
Bye.